Hello everyone, welcome back to the AWS Cloud Engineer Essential series. My name is Dheerajchoudhary and in today's session we are going to deep dive into one of the most important building blocks of AWS networking, that is the virtual private cloud, also known as the VPC. So a VPC is like your own private data center inside AWS. So it's where you design your network, control your IP ranges, create subnets, configure route tables, and manage internet access securely. In this video, we will cover the fundamentals of VPCs, what they are, how subnets work, the role of route table, and why internet gateway are critical for connecting to the outside world. By the end of this video, you will understand how all these pieces fits together to form a secure, customizable, and scalable cloud network. So let's get started with AWS VPC fundamentals. First, let's understand what exactly is a VPC, virtual private cloud. So it is a logical isolated network inside AWS. Think of it as your own private space in AWS cloud where you can define and manage your network environment based on your requirement. So with the VPC, you get full control over the IP address ranges, subnets, routing, and security. This makes it flexible enough to design your infrastructure exactly the way your application requires it. In simple terms, it acts just like the private data center in the cloud, but with scalability and reliability of AWS behind it. And most importantly, a VPC is the foundation for deploying AWS resources securely, where it's EC2 instances, RDS databases, or application load balancers, everything lies inside a VPC. So, this is the foundation, guys. Please give 100% to understand this. If you are having any queries, make sure you ask your queries in the comments of the video below. Now let's break down subnets which are inside a VPC. Once we create a subnet, then we create VPC. So a VPC is simply a segment of your VPC's IP address ranges. So it helps you organize your network into smaller manageable sections. There are two types of subnets. First one is the public subnet where you place resources that needs internet access like web servers, and the second one is private subnet for the resources that should remain internal like databases or application servers that don't need direct internet exposure. Each subnet is tied to an availability zone. This means your architecture can spread across multiple zones, improving fault tolerance and reliability. So, subnets are how you divide your VPC into public and private areas, making your network both secure and efficient. So, think of it, guys. First, we created an VPC. So, in this VPC, we have given a range of IP addresses. So the range starts from here and ends from here. So now this is my range and this is my area. After that, I am creating a subnets. So subnets are going to be small pieces of areas that I am isolating. So this first small is going to be public, in which my web servers who has to talk with IP addresses are going to be there. Then the second one is going to be private, which is only going to talk within this VPC, and the third one would be in some other way that I want to use. So this is how you can piece by piece separate your VPC's IP addresses based on your application requirements. Now let's look at the route tables, which controls how traffic moves inside your VPC. So a route table is essentially a set of rules that define the traffic flow. So each rule called a route specifies a destination and a target. For example, traffic going to the internet should be directed through the internet gateway only. Every subnet must be associated with a route table. This association decides whether the traffic from that subnet is allowed to go or not. So by default, AWS gives you a main route table, but you can create custom ones to design your own traffic rules. So route tables are navigation of your VPCs, making sure your data always takes the right path. So try to understand that in this way. What I would say is, for example, suppose I have created my VPC. Now within my VPC, I have three sections. two sections, public and private. Now, to get inside this public, first you will have to go through a route. Now, the way to reach in my VPC to that piece of network, you have to create a route and you have to add that route in the route table. Simple as that. No need to worry much about it. Later on, when we will implement at the end of this video, it will be crystal clear for you. Now, let's explore internet gateways, that is IGWs, the short form. An internet gateway is what allows your VPC resources to connect to the internet. Without it, even if you have a subnet, that is a public subnet, your instances won't be able to reach to the outside world. To enable internet access, the internet gateway must be attached to your VPC first. This is a key step when setting up any public facing resources. So for subnet that needs to be public, like web server subnet, and internet gateway is mandatory. So private subnet, on the other hand, do not use it directly. It use in a via network that I will show you later. The IGW is built to be highly available and horizontally scaled, so you don't have to worry about it becoming a single point of failure. Finally, the internet gateway works hand in hand with the route table. It ensures that when you configure a routing point to the internet, the traffic is directed through the IGW safely and efficiently to the target from the destination. So internet gateways are the bridge between your VPC and the internet. So if this is your VPC, now your VPC has to talk to internet. So to talk to internet, it has to have an internet gateway. Once you have that internet gateway, then only you would be able to talk with the internet, that is worldwide network. So the internet gateways are the bridge between your VPC and the internet. That's why we say that. Now it's time to put all these pieces together and to show you how VPC really works. So based on this diagram, I am sure you are not going to understand. So I created a small infrastructure, a small diagram, architecture diagram to help you explain. Let me try my level best. So over here, we have our VPC that you see over here. This is our VPC. Now, in this VPC, we design our network by creating both public and the private subnets. And public subnets are the resources that needs the internet access, correct? While the private subnets are the one for the internal resources like databases. Then the route table over here. So route table is not going to be outside. Consider that as part of your VPC only. Maybe in this diagram I have kept it outside, but it should be part of your VPC. It would be associated to your VPC. So the route tables come into play. They are going to control the traffic flows in and out of each subnet. Now, as I said, public subnet is internet facing, so it can talk to internet. But to talk to internet, it has to go via the route table with the help of internet gateway to the internet. It cannot directly talk to internet. So this is how the route table plays the role over here to allow the internet access for the resources in public subnet. This is how we attach the internet gateway. And when you combine this VPC structures, you will see subnets, route tables, and internet gateway, which results in secure, customizable, and scalable cloud network. So this is the foundation of AWS networking, and everything you build in the cloud relies on these basics. If you are going to be a cloud engineer, these basics questions are for sure going to be there in your interview. So make sure you clear these fundamentals as much as you can. Now we understood the concepts, we understood the theory. It's time for us to see how we can implement it. Now, the basic step of implementing it is we can go ahead, create a VPC, provide our custom range of IP addresses, then create our subnets and add internet gateway and add the route. That is the traditional way. But I will show you one console way also, which is very easy for you as a beginner to get started. But at the end, when you're going to work in enterprise, this is the right way that you see on the screen, which is going to help you. Okay, so let me do one thing. First, I will show you the easy path. So log into your AWS console with your credentials. Once you log in, go over here and search for VPC. Okay. Now, when I go on VPC. First, I will walk you through the default VPC, which gets created as soon as your account is created. So you understand what exactly the VPC is and how resources are associated. So this is our VPC. So if you see, we have a one VPC created in Singapore. As soon as I created my account, AWS has did that by default. So if you see this VPC, this is our VPC, okay? And inside this VPC, we have three subnets. Every subnet is associated to one availability zone, 1A, 1B, and 1C. And all these are having an entry in the route table so that it can talk to internet. Okay, so this is how the resource map is for the VPC. Okay, now if you go in each and every one of them, you would be able to see what exactly is. If you want to see route table, see, if I click on route table, it says that there are three subnet association. So as I said, once you create the subnet, the first thing that you do is you create your custom route table, or you rely on the existing route table that AWS create, and inside that you are going to provide the routes to reach to internet gateway or some other destination that you want as part of your application implementation. So this is the basic one, which is already there in my account also, and it will be there in your account also. So now you understood that how you create your VPC. Now if you want to go in more details, if I click on this will take me to the route table, and over here you can see, first I will show you. See, this specific route table is associated with three subnets which are created. So these are our subnets 1, 2, and 3. Now if I go to route, over here it is showing that destination is this and the target is internet gateway. So this route helps us to talk to the internet, and this is the local default route to talk within our VPC. So this is how it is. This is how we are also going to create it. Now we have just seen that how exactly VPC will look after it has been created. Now let's go ahead and see how we will create it. So come back to the AWS console. Okay, over here search for VPC. Click on VPC and click over here on the top. Okay, create VPC. This is actually very useful for beginners. So over here, what's happening? By default, it has given you everything. So you can do it over here, which is actually visually very appealing and easy for beginners. So what we are doing over here is we are saying that create VPC and more. If I say VPC, it is only going to create VPC, but we are going to create more than VPC. That is first VPC, then subnet, then route table, then internet gateway, right? Now I will go ahead and click on VPC and more. So this is the basic structure that it has already created for us. Okay, now I will modify it based on my requirement. What I'm going to do is, first of all, it is saying this is our VPC. So it is saying create tag auto generation. So it says it will auto generate the tag. It's okay. VPC would require tag. That is part of best practice. Now, right now we are taking this CIDR block, but if you want, you can change that to, yeah, you can go ahead and just edit that directly. But I am going to keep the default one. I don't require IPv6 CIDR block at the current moment because we are not going to use it. Tenancy also is not required. Now, we are going to talk about the availability zones. How many availability zones we are going to focus upon? So now, as I am in Singapore, this console is automatically showing you that this region is having 3 availability zone. But as we are getting started with it, I am just going to click 1 availability zone. But if you think that I want to customize that more, click on this and select which availability zone you want. So right now, when I say availability zone, I need only 1 availability zone. So by default, it has taken the first one, but you need the third one. Click on customize, drop down, go to the third one. Now third one is selected. That is how you can customize to the availability zone. So now, first we created the region. Now we have created the availability zone. Now we are inside the availability zone. Now for that availability zone, I am going to go ahead and create a public subnet and a private subnet. So over here, I want 1 public subnet and 1 private subnet. It is okay. If you don't want it, make it 0. See, So right now it is 1 1. So it is showing over here 1 1. Uh, Sorry, I forgot to show you, like sync our discussion with this. Let's again talk about availability zone. So when I select one, you can see that availability zone is only having two subnets. Okay. When I will click on two, see, so the subnets have been changed. And now when I click on three, it will be six. The reason for that is when I click on one, the first availability zone, the first subnet is what we say public and the other one is private. That's why it is creating two, because two is selected over there, one public and one. So right now we have just done one. That's why you can see two subnets, one per availability zone each. Okay. Now, if you want to customize the CIDR, so what we usually do is first we create a chunk of IP CIDR block, then we uh, segregate it down based on our subnets. So when I created this, so as part of segregation, it has done the segregation itself where it has allocated 4096 IPs to by using this IP range from the above IP range that we have used for our VPC. So you can use this default one. If you want, you can customize this too. So right now, if I am, you can customize this too by just adding your own. Then next is NAT gateways. So NAT gateways I have not covered, so I am not going to talk about that now. But that is also a part of networking that we will be looking later in the advanced part. So this is sufficient for creating our VPC. Now you only saw that by default we created one VPC, which is project VPC. Okay, and under that we created two subnets, subnet public and subnet private, and we created both of the subnets under the availability zone number 3. Once we created that, automatically this console has helped us to associate that with the route table also. Right now we have not created any route table and done the association, but when I'm going to do it with traditional method, I will have to do it by myself. So it has created the route table, as well as it has also created an internet gateway for us for the public subnet. And the association you can see is only with public subnet. So only public subnet resources would be able to talk to internet, not the private one. And this is how our new VPC is going to look. And this is all the configuration. Then to create the VPC, I'm just going to go ahead and click on create VPC, and it is showing you that what all resources it is creating, and we will verify it one by one. Okay. So meanwhile, I will just right click, open this in new tab, and actually the VPC is created. It was so fast. Now I am viewing my VPC. This is our VPC that we have created, and see the resource map. So as part of the VPC, these all things has been created. So first, let's see, is it the right VPC name? Where is the VPC enabled? Okay. IP, yes, only IPv4 I had selected. Tenancy was default. Okay. Now let me go ahead and click on VPCs. Yes, over here you can see this is our new VPC, and this is the VPC ID, and the state is available. Okay, and this is the CIDR that we had selected. That is our custom CIDR. Okay. Now if I click on this, it is going to show us more details of our VPC. Now let's start doing it step by step. We checked our VPC. Now let's check the subnets. Now I clicked on subnets. Okay. And over here you can see the subnets available. So if I refresh this, now you can see our two subnets. It was not available because it was not refreshed. So if you are not able to see it, make sure you refresh it. So public AP Southeast, this is the one that we created, and the other one is this. So these are the two subnets that we created, and you can see both are in the availability zone 3, as I said, right? Now two subnets are also created. If you want to get the details, click on that and you will see the details. Now let's see the route table. Again, I will refresh it once. So you can see two route tables we created. One was public route table and one was private route table. So if I click on public route table, inside this, you will see that it has created the association for our internet gateway. Now, if I go to internet gateways, this is the same internet gateway you will see over there. Either you click on this or you click on this, it is just going to take you to the internet gateway. And this is the internet gateway project IGW that we have. So if I click on this, it is going to show us details about this. Okay. So this is the internet gateway details. That is what you see. And in route tables, we saw 2 routes to be created. Now, this was by using the console. But if you have to do this by using the traditional method, so in that way, what you will have to do is first go to your VPCs. Once you click on that, you have to click on create VPC. Okay, then you have to do it step by step. So I will say VPC and more. So over here, suppose you can do it in 2 ways. Usually what we do is we do it one by one. First I will create VPC. I will do all the advanced configuration in detail. Then I will create my VPC. Then I will create my subnets, associate that with VPC. So multiple ways of doing it. But now the new way currently in 2025 and 2026 is you can use it by using their console option itself. So I hope that helps you understand how you can create your VPC route tables and the internet gateway and associate them together. And that wraps up our session of AWS VPC fundamentals, route tables, and internet gateway. Now, whenever we create anything on VPC, it is our responsibility to make sure that we are going to delete that. So if you have created this along with me, make sure you go back, look for all your resources and make sure you are deleting them. So right now, this is my project VPC. Okay. So if I select on it, it is not giving me any option directly because you have to click on actions and over here you will have to say delete VPC. Once you click on delete VPC, see, it is showing you what all things it is going to delete. So it is going to delete the internet gateway. It is going to delete the 2 subnets, public and private, and the 2 route tables which were created and which were associated. 1 route table each. One was created for the public and another one was created for the private. So you just have to go ahead and say delete. You have to type delete, not say. Sorry about that. Then just delete this and it is going to delete your VPC. And here we go. So over here you can see the details too. It is showing deleting. See, my VPC has been deleted successfully and this is my default VPC which is available. So even though I refresh now, you will not see any resources. If I go in subnet also, see, now I will refresh, 2 VPCs that we have created is going to be removed. See, it's removed. So that is how. And route tables also, again we refresh, it's gone. Right? Internet gateway, see, there are 2, refresh, it's gone. It's only 1. So that is how you can clean up your resource. So as part of this tutorial, we saw how VPC acts like a private data center in the cloud, how you can divide the subnets for your network into public and private areas, how route tables control the traffic flow, and how internet gateways enable secure internet access inside your VPC. So thank you so much for watching the video. I would love to know what you think. So leave your questions or queries along with your experiences with the VPCs in the comments below. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you will be notified when the next video in the AWS Cloud Engineer Essential series is going to be released. So see you in the next video and bye for now.